So firstly, thank you for inviting me. I'm a researcher at the University of York, and also I'm an AWOC myself so far. I'm 40, just turned 40, and no children, and living independently. Um, the topic of my research is making AI safer for older adults, and this has close synergies with what we do here at AWOC. And so my talk's titled Aging Without Children, What Has AI Got to Do with It? And I'm very excited to hear that Penny was sharing some of her work around this area. So happy to reconnect later with Penny as well. This is a little bit about me before I get to the proper talk. So I'm a dentist by graduation, but that was a really long time back for me. I did my first master's as a health administrator, and thereafter I started working for private health insurance companies in a couple of countries, and I designed technology-driven well-being programs in India. My base is in Mumbai, where I've come from. I came to the UK in 2022 to pursue my second master's at Oxford, an MSc in digital health. So this was just to unlearn some of the things I knew as a technology maker and a doctor. I felt that technology is not helping the real people who need help. And so I came here for a lot of unlearning. And thereafter, it's been a journey of doing more research. My thesis at Oxford was based on technologies for managing isolation and loneliness in older people. And from there on, I'm now pursuing a PhD in this field. I've been granted a 4-year scholarship by the UKRI in my PhD in safety of AI in health and social care. So that's a little bit about me. And my research aims to contribute, like I said, making AI safer for the aging population. And AWOC are a big part of it. When I think of older adults, a lot of faces, popular faces, come to my mind. These people have been at the forefront of leading human rights, making us know a lot about nature, movies, acting, and some of them are also pioneers in the field of AI. So being old comes to me in the same breath as in being inspiring, being wise, and advancing in life. And also the whole idea of aging is something that represents all the different people you could think of in terms of where they come from, their ethnicity, their culture, their language. And also, aging represents life choices. You have people who want to live independently. There are people who live in assisted communities as a group, and there are people who live with their partners. So all of those choices also belong to older adults. And aging also comes with different levels of abilities. So, whether it is physical abilities or cognitive abilities, the whole world of being old is diverse. Unfortunately, like I see in research and in healthcare, we tend to look at aging and older adults as just population numbers. And that's where is a big part of the problem we are facing in how technology is designed. So when we talk about numbers, I would like to show you some numbers from the state of health and care of older people in England from 2024. And this report says that 2 million people above the age of 65 have unmet needs for care and support for basic everyday living tasks. Things like dressing, walking across a room, bathing, eating, getting out of bed, and using the toilet. And that's a huge number to be focused for policy. At the same time, when you have the health and social care sector, some of these needs cannot be met with the lack of enough medical and care force. And we've had all these debates on news channels around how NHS and the care sector are struggling to have enough people. So the bottom line is we really need more care, because we have achieved through science and advancement a longer life, but we also have some struggles there in ensuring everyone has a healthy lifespan. And there's a lot of dependency on informal caring, people you know, people from your friends, from your family and your community to be there for you when you need it. And also you need emergency visits, hospital stays and follow-up visits, all of that coming with a lot of uncertainty. And when we talk about AWOCs, people who live independently without children and not having, in all cases, a system of support for caring, this kind of problem can affect 68% of UK older adults by 2035. This number comes from the same report that I was showing you. So again, that's a significant number for our policymakers to solve for. But my argument is we don't need more care homes. We don't need more, the government can keep doing what it's doing in terms of facilitating clinical facility or care homes. But we need to be able to help people age in place safely, having their own independence and autonomy, and having their own choices when it comes to their health, their mobility, and their social connections. And if we do that, we could prevent follow-up visits to the GP. We can have a sense of community, a sense of control and autonomy. So what has AI got to do with it? Here we have a lot of research and a lot of experiments happening around the world to help people live independently at home. And before I get there, I'll talk about what basically is AI, because this is a buzzword all around the news today. So artificial intelligence is the development of computer systems capable of performing tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as reasoning, learning, decision-making, and perception. Everything that you can do through a human brain, whether it is processing images, whether it is about making decisions based on some information, whether it is communications, all of that, if taken over by computer systems or aided by computer systems, can qualify as intelligence. Computers cannot, however, think, empathize, or reason by themselves. These functions are written for them by humans, like May was talking about coding. So coding is what creates artificial intelligence as the first step. And the next question we all face is, a lot of people tell me, oh, I don't use AI. I'm not really concerned. So I wanted to show you some slides and some photos to really ask this question, are you untouched by AI? So when we talk about smartphones, from the point you sign up to a smartphone, you enable your smartphone to recognize you by your face, there's AI in it. If you're using any form of social media, whether it is YouTube or Facebook, to kind of, help you stay connected or search for news or watch videos, there's AI in it. If you're using Google or any search engine, there's AI in it. If you're using online maps like Google Maps to navigate in your car or on the street, there's AI in it. If you're using a digital assistant at home like Siri, Alexa, there's AI in it. If you're using emails and your emails are now helping you write better because they have some automatic prompts, there's AI in it. If you're using digital banking, if you're getting offers on some sort of bank accounts, if you're looking at some promotional emails just because you made some digital transaction, there's AI in it. And if you're in a supermarket, there are cameras that are hosted for surveillance. They are all feeding into AI in some form. So really, when we talk about our everyday life, around moving around and about, we are touched by AI. Now let's look at some of the other cases which are very focused on health and social care. So nowadays, in terms of clinical diagnosis, simple things like x-rays, scans, they're all enabled through rich data that has been collected over years to make quicker, faster, more accurate diagnosis. So your health diagnosis is now being intervened a lot by AI. Also, in many counties in the UK, we are testing clinical AI scribes that help with the doctor to make better notes and pass on their diagnosis to you. And so you might see that there are some recordings as you speak to the doctor so that they can spend more time with you and less time writing. So this clinical note taking is now being aided by AI at many places in the UK. And in a few counties, there are experiments where fall detection cameras or surveillance cameras at home are being deployed to make people safe and have emergency alarms for NHS to come and help you. So these fall detection mechanisms are also led by AI. So in effect, the world we're moving towards is moving towards AI, and our choice is whether we try and stop it altogether or whether we do something to make it safer for people to not get harmed by AI. And my work is falling in the second category. And what AI is about what makes it. So at the bottom of what AI is all the data and information that is processed to give you some decisions. And the better this data, the better the processing, and the better the decisions that AI makes for you. So AI is like a cake, I would say, to simplify it. It is as good as the ingredients you choose and the process you follow. And if those two things fail or are not good enough, AI is not good for you. So can AI solve the care crisis? Coming back to the first question we had when we started to talk about how older people might need more care. Now, these are examples from what's happening around the world in terms of having AI-enabled homes. Now, these are not fancy homes, but just because of the use of simple gadgets, having Wi-Fi, cheaper internet, having social media, having everyday information collected, every home today is in a way turning into a smart home. And you have devices around you that can sense, monitor, and support you in your journey. And there are all these hypotheses that this will help carers or caregivers or friends or family save labor, physical labor, and reduce anxiety. But can AI be psychologically safe? Can it give you the kind of assurance you need? And to kind of dig at that, I've been looking at how is safety of AI defined. And one of the definitions that comes from the institute I'm affiliated with is that safety is protection from unacceptable risk of harm caused by AI. And the scope of this harm should be expanded to moral, social, and psychological harms and not just physical harms. And in terms of being safe psychologically, when surrounded by gadgets, devices, and intelligence around you, it is about preventing unacceptable psychological harm such as stress or trauma, especially for older people, because we need to make sure they have all the information they need when they're facing devices, gadgets, and systems, that they're included when these things are designed, and they have guaranteed independence when a health or social care system asks you to use AI for your better health. So AI comes with a lot of ethical concerns. One is, like I said, psychological harm. It should help you with your independent living and not harm your journey. In terms of how AI is designed, there is structural ageism on how AI technologies have been designed in the past. That means the data of older people, the process of designing, the level of deployment has traditionally excluded older people because of many challenges. And there's a high level of vulnerability when we talk about decision making around AI in your homes. There's potential loss of self-determination and inadequate agency. These are all findings from studies around the world. And of course, we have a lot of issues around having consent from people when you deploy things like surveillance cameras in their homes and you make decisions as carers. So my research basically tries to go and figure out how we can prevent all of these potential harms for older people. And how I've broken down that work is I'm trying to define what does safety means when it comes to aging and AI. How do we assess it? And then how do we monitor it? And there's some steps to it. I'll just give it a very simple framework. I'm looking at smart technologies in everyday life, and I'm trying to find out what makes people feel unsafe or at risk. So, in that sense, I'm not a researcher promoting AI for people. I'm a researcher trying to make it safer for people and have their voices come out for the right people to make decisions and deploy that in the way they design, the way they think about social care. So, I'm reviewing past research in this area, which is very limited. And in the second step, I'm going to ask older people, and this talk at AWOC is one of the steps. So I want to invite people to come join me for my research. And I want to come up with a safety framework that everyone who's designing technology can replicably use to include older people in their work. And the last step is keep assessing it, because the first starting point is to have something, and the ongoing process is to keep improving it. So if you're interested, I will circulate my email to Sue later on, but I've parked it here for you. And the other resource I have for you is a podcast on Spotify that I create and lead. This is called the Silver Lining Podcast. It's available for free on Spotify, and we've got 4 episodes on it so far, and we'll have 6 more through this year. And we talk on that podcast to experts, to older people, to carers on what really is their experience with technologies at home and how can we make it better. And before I end, I'll still pass on some safety tips for you to assess if a technology like an AI is safe for you. The first step is protecting your data. So, these are very common principles, I'm sure you know, but still, never type your bank passwords or specific health or personal details into any AI chatbot like ChatGPT or any online search engine. Secondly, when your phone or tablet says software update available, please do it. These updates are like fixing a broken lock. And there are some rules to identify scams or fakes, because nowadays you can have a lot of videos that are created by AI or information calls that are generated by AI. So if you have an emergency call saying they are a bank or income tax agent, please follow all the steps you can to verify for them. And if they ask for money, just hang up. Any requests on email via gift cards or wire transfers are usually scams. So look at the source and verify it. Any link to in an email that takes you to a website that looks slightly off or misspelled could be a scam website. And if it is a video or a trust or a news video that you're believing to be true, identify the blinking patterns of the video or the people in the video. If there are any blurry spots, are they sounding like robots? So these are all some of the tips. And lastly, with your friends or family, establish some secret words. And if you get some calls that mention a family member, ask them to mention the secret family word. So have some of your own mechanisms to protect your information, and be very careful when you look at things online or on calls to identify and have your distinction whether it could be a scam, right? So with that, I end with a quote that the real problem is not whether machines think, but whether men do, or women, or us in general. Thank you so much.